Welcome to day 40 of the 300 Movie Challenge. Today we watched the highest grossing film of September 1997, which was LA Confidential. And I guess just to kind of start off, I liked it a little bit more than Pulp Fiction, which is interesting. Just because I thought it was a little bit more engaging.
It made more sense.
It made way more sense.
It made a little bit more sense.
I basically see this as kind of like a combination of Pulp Fiction and what was it called? Get Shorty.
Yeah,
Like
the same person was in Get Shorty and this movie too. Danny DeVito.
Oh yeah, well, because Get Shorty was much more of a comedic angle of it though, where like this was more.
This was way more serious.
Serious, yeah. So the tone was close. It was more like Pulp Fiction, even though the content was a bit more like Get Shorty. But
yeah.
I think, to me personally, if I were to compare the three, I actually like it the most of those three.
I definitely like it the most. It was definitely the most engaging one. Like, I did feel lost many times because they don't explain anything.
Well,
and they drop a lot of like names.
Yeah, that was the most difficult thing, was just remembering who everyone's name is, because there's a lot of people and they all look. A lot of them look kind of similar. So that's probably the most difficult thing. I think I kind of followed it decently well. I mean, because again, it's presented like a mystery, right? So it's like you don't know what's going on, but like I could kind of follow most of it. I got the build up, and I think I figured out. I think kind of I was piecing together the pieces as the movie meant me to, so to speak, and yeah, I mean, like, on a technical level, I can't really think of too many things wrong with it.
I think my favorite part about it was the atmosphere. It was done very, very well.
Yeah, the atmosphere was really nice.
Mm-hmm. Definitely had, like, a really, like, something's not right kind of feeling to it. And it's, like, really hard to tell what exactly. It was very subtle. And it was like at almost every scene. It was just, like, something's off, and you don't really know what it is.
Yeah.
And so, that was done really well.
Too, on like the production level, was the fact that you could tell going into the movie that this did not take place in the 90s and stuff. And at first, I admit I was kind of scared because I was like, oh, it's going to be like, what was that movie? The movie that we thought took place in the 70s.
Oh, the same?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. I was like, oh god, it's going to be another one of those. But it actually is meant to take place in 1950.
Yeah, and the style, like, fits everything. It doesn't feel like complete, like, randomness.
Yeah, it captured the atmosphere and the setting very, very well. Like, just even down to how everyone's dressed, how everyone speaks, how everyone, like, just carries themselves. It's very much, like, an older time. Maybe, I don't know about, like, necessarily the 50s because I haven't watched any movies from the 50s, but it definitely didn't feel, like, modern at all.
Yeah, and to add...
Oh, you can go.
Okay. And to add to that, like, because it's kind of similar to Pulp Fiction in a way, where, like, in Pulp Fiction, kind of like every character, like, was kind of a scumbag, right?
Yeah.
Where this is kind of similar, where it's like pretty much every character has something off with them, right? It's not quite as bad. So, because the problem with Pulp Fiction is that it was like it was to the degree where like you couldn't sympathize with anybody.
Yeah.
Where this, I feel like that's not quite true, right?
Yeah.
So it's, again, they make some questionable choices and do questionable things, but you at least understand why they're doing it from their perspective, and yeah, and again, but they're still, like, sympathized with. Like, remember Higher Learning?
Yeah.
It's kind of like how I kind of felt the similar way with the characters, as to then and to now for this. But I would say the plot in general, it was a bit more interesting for this movie.
Yeah, certainly.
For me, the only two things that I felt were kind of off was the romance stuff with I forgot her name, the main woman person.
The woman.
Oh.
From both people. Like, yeah.
Lynn, yeah.
Because there was both Bud, like, he kind of showed up, and, like, they were like, oh, they're together somehow. Like, that seemed to kind of come out of nowhere. And then when Ed came, and, like, somehow completely out of nowhere seemed to hook up with her. That made no sense, right? So
that made no sense.
But even Bud's thing, like, that didn't make a lot of sense either. That seemed kind of random as well.
It was like 2 instances of insta-love.
Yes, that was kind of off.
Basically.
But
I think if they took that out, it would have been fine.
Yeah, or at least, again, like, built a relationship with or maybe had it where, like, you know, both of them... Because, again, the thing with the Ed thing is, like, he, like, literally just met her. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like maybe if it was something where both, because again, like for a lot of the movie, Bud and Ed were kind of like rivals in a sense, and so like maybe if they kind of introduced Lynn as like part of the rivalry in between them, right? So again, you see the screen time with them, and you see the build up and like how it works. That would have flowed a bit better. So that was a bit off. I mean, it wasn't a huge part of the plot, so it was not like super. It didn't like ruin it, but it was kind of like, wait a minute.
It was really random.
Yeah, and the other thing, this movie's not that long, but it felt long.
It kind of feels like
It didn't feel too long, but it felt pretty long, and I don't really know why. Because again, it's not an insanely long movie, so.
I think like the pacing makes it seem like it's more like a mini-series almost.
Yeah.
Like we're watching 6 episodes of something rather than a 2-hour and like 20-minute movie. I think it has a lot to do with the pacing, and I think that also has a lot to do with again the atmosphere, because in the 50s things are kind of a little bit more slower paced, it seems.
Well, also just in terms of that kind of atmosphere where things don't seem quite right, from what I've gathered, a way to do that in terms of like editing for a movie is to like, you know, leave a shot holding for like just a bit longer than normally should.
Maybe that's what it was.
And so because of that, again, kind of the atmosphere building, I can understand why that would kind of make the movie a little bit longer. So it's one of those things where it's like, I kind of, especially near the end, before things started to come together, I was like, okay, this is lasting a while, right? So the thing is, though, if they did kind of try to shorten things up, maybe the atmosphere would be lost, and it might even feel rushed, even though there isn't too much of a difference, right? I don't know, right? So it's kind of one of those criticisms where I'm like, I'm kind of criticizing it, but I mean, first of all, it's not a big deal, right? It's not like, oh my god, the movie lasted forever.
Yeah,
but it's
it was
like,
fine.
Yeah,
it was better than some other movies and some
like
movies
Sleepers.
we will be seeing.
Sleepers lasted forever, and yeah, another movie is gonna last forever. And it doesn't have hobbitses, so you know.
Not yet.
We'll get to that. Anyway, so I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like I kind of have the criticism, but at the same time, I feel like if they tried to do it the other way, it would be still a criticism, but in the opposite direction.
I feel like it kind of
So,
works.
Again, stylistically it works. It's just, I don't know, maybe I'm just tired and I have no attention span right now, but whatever.
Okay.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to add was their thing with locations, because you could tell, like, what the ghetto part of town was, what the police station, and what the, like, upper districts looked like. I thought that was very interesting, how you could see, they chose the locations very well and stuff.
Yeah, they definitely did.
Mm-hmm.
Not like a slight random note, but I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, it definitely adds to just how, I guess, genuine it comes off as. Can't speak. But it's like, it's genuine enough because you can still kind of see it as, yeah, this isn't really what's happening, but at the same time it's like you can believe that it's happening to these people.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially like the setup, because remember like the very beginning of the movie when like there was that like kind of like fight in the jail or whatever. It's like that really sets the tone of like what kind of characters you're dealing with and how things are going to act, because again, like characters do like, you know, act out in ways they shouldn't, and there's a lot of shady stuff going on. It's like that kind of moment is very good at like highlighting that like there clearly is a problem here. Right, because the whole movie is basically about how, I mean, there's the main bad guy, but like pretty much everybody, right, is some kind of corrupt cop in some way, right?
Yeah, everyone's pretty shady.
Yeah, and so it's just kind of interesting to see that. And also what I noticed is, you know how like in the very beginning it seemed like they were playing up Ed as like, oh, the goody two-shoes who's gonna like try to flip everyone around. But then he kind of went like scummy in his own way. right?
Yeah.
Because he went more like manipulative and stuff like that. So that was interesting to see how they kind of didn't make him just like, oh, I'm the innocent boy who's trying to fix everybody, you know? So that was interesting as well.
Yeah, so anything else?
I think this is probably so far the best movie we've seen this year.
This year, of the actual movies that came out this year, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, this and Men in Black.
Yeah. I mean, Captain America's still the best, but whatever. The 2011 movie is the best movie of 1997.
Hell yeah.
Woo. Nostalgia doesn't work. Seriously, like I feel like I might already said this. I don't remember. I'm so dumb. But I've just heard people like talk about, you know, oh, things used to be so much better. Now it's all just franchises and like stuff, and we all have seen it before. And it's like, yeah, but like, I'll take a standard 2010s action movie, you know, usually superhero oriented or something like that. I'll take that over like all the shit we've been seeing.
Yeah.
It's like this just the standard of quality just seems noticeably higher now. And it's like, you know, yeah, sure. Like, I know
there'll always be hiccups and stuff.
Yeah, I know I'm going to regret saying this, but like I almost feel like, especially for a lot of the more recent movies in the last like 2 years, I'd like rather watch like a Transformers movie than like a lot of these. And it's like, because again, at least that you can see things that look neat, and like the stuff that's dumb is just kind of dumb in the background and you don't care about it, right? It's not like it's because the problem, again, like a lot of these movies, especially like a lot of the romantic movies, is like, or the comedies, the problems are the main things in the movie. You can't just ignore them, right? So it's just like, but I don't know.
And not only that, but a lot of like, there's romantic comedies, and then there's also like a bunch like, what was like really, I'm like trying to remember
the trauma.
The Saint was so boring. Oh my god.
Oh yes.
And that wasn't even a romantic comedy. That was supposed to be an action movie.
Yeah.
And oh my god.
It was so dumb.
Yeah, that was super boring. I mean,
I will say this, which I think I would rather watch a Bollywood movie. That would have more action, because at least there would be some kind of fight scene that would happen that involved punches and kung fu or something. That would be way more interesting.
The required action scene.
Yeah, that's really the required.
Well, it's kind of weird because, like, again, it seems like the movies that we have the least to talk about are the ones that are like pretty good.
Yeah.
Right? It's just because it's like, again, if it's bad, we'll just rip it to shreds. But if it's like, and if it's really good, we have a lot to praise about. For this, we're just like, yeah, it's solid. Like, I mean, I'll be honest, the fact that it has a 90 on Metacritic is a bit strange. I wouldn't rate it that high.
It's a little bit high, but it's...
But again, I would say, you know, for most people, it's definitely got some gross parts.
Yes. There were parts where I had to cover my eyes, and they had to tell me when to look. So
yeah, there's a few gross things, but like, it's nothing that, like, again, I would say I'm fairly weak stomach, but you know, I would not say this is too much.
I could stomach this better than Outbreak, definitely.
Yeah, okay, Outbreak was worse. Like, Interview with the Vampire was worse.
Oh god, I forgot about that movie.
I know, right? It was so long ago.
Blocked it out of your memory.
I did block it out of my memory.
I'd say like Pulp Fiction. Well, Pulp Fiction's kind of different because it's not like gory, but it's like just the stuff they show is just kind of messed up.
It's a very what's it called? It's a very niche kind of.
Yeah. Or niche.
It's niche. But yeah, so again, it's one of those things where it's like, it's like, yeah, if you're like super weak on it, then I guess no, but I don't think it's that bad overall. And again, I think there's definitely more good. There's definitely stuff that is worth seeing in here. So again, it's a little bit long, but it's not like that doesn't ruin it or anything. And there's some solid stuff in here, and so I'll say
I could watch 95% of the movie. So.
yeah, I'd give this like a soft recommendation, right? Not like oh my god, watch this movie, but it's like if you're in the mood for some sort of crime drama thing, then sure, why not, right?
Yeah, like
choose this over Get Shorty or
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction.
Well, okay, if you watch something that's more funny, then I would say watch Get Shorty. I personally thought Get Shorty was overall decent, but I would say this is better, so, whatever.
Yeah. No, Get Shorty is... I definitely rank Get Shorty over Pulp Fiction, but...
Yeah.
This movie definitely is probably going to make more of an impression on me than Get Shorty.
Yeah, overall.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's that.
Okay. I guess that's a wrap. So we will see you next time in October? Yeah, October.
Yes,
that comes after September.
And
Shut up.
Hopefully will not be some weird crime thing.
Yeah, literally every single October has been some weird crime movie.
And I'm very, very, very sad and disappointed.
Well, we had a crime movie just like right now, and then we had one with Men in Black. So I guess
I wouldn't really count Men in Black as a crime drama.
I consider it to be a crime movie.
Okay, well you're wrong, but whatever.
We'll see the best.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Actually, on a random note with Will Smith, I don't know if I actually don't know when the release date of that movie is, so we may or may not be watching this movie. But, so, as of right now when we're recording this video, about a few days ago, they released, like, a bunch of the actors that are going to be playing in the live-action Aladdin. And I asked my aunt to guess who the genie was. Her first guess was Will Smith.
Oh my god.
And I was like, yeah, actually.
Really? Wait, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's Will Smith.
We're getting Will Smith as the genie.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Oh my god. I don't know how to feel about this.
I am personally very amused by this.
I'm kind of scared right now. Oh, wow. The Aladdin movie, that comes out in May 2019, which would be the last month.
Oh, so we
the
might
very last one. This might be number 300.
We might end with Will Smith.
I might have just, like, hinted at the fact.
We can't tell the future, so we'll see.
Nope.
Yeah, we can't tell.
I mean, it's the same month that Avengers 4 is coming out, so,
I mean, I wouldn't mind watching Aladdin, so... Aladdin's always a great movie to watch.
Yes. I'm actually really sad we didn't get to watch it for this list.
Yeah, it's old. It's too old, right?
Yeah, it's 92.
Yeah, Aladdin's 92, so...
We're rambling on about Aladdin now.
Yeah.
It's okay! It's okay.
We know. We know what we're doing.
Yeah, we obviously know what we're doing.
Totally.
I think we should stop this recording.
Okay. So we'll sign off on
Bye.
a note about Aladdin, so till next time.
Bye!
Why did we talk about Aladdin?
Because Will Smith.
But why?
It's okay, Val.
No,
you
it's
should
not.
keep it. Just in case it's actually a hint to what the movie 300 is.
It's too bad the movie 300 isn't 300.
That would have been really hilarious.
No. Anyway. Yeah.